mic, that recording will be made available afterwards and it will be publicly available. So if you're happy for your camera to be on, then please do so. Otherwise, you can put all of your questions in the chat on the side and then I'll pick them up from there periodically during the meeting. So welcome along this afternoon. My name is Martin. I'm from Turn It On. We work with Microsoft. We're one of the global training partners. And this afternoon, this is the very first launch session for this year's MIEE program from Microsoft and Turn It On. The program will help you explore what Office 365 has to offer, but also we will be on this program broadly working with you to help you with your application and make sure that you have really high quality evidence that demonstrates impact and transformation of learning through joining us on a series of sessions, and we'll explain more as we go through this afternoon. So without any further delay, let's get started. The areas that we're going to cover is we'll consider first of all what it's like to be an MIEE and why you might want to become one. We'll have a look at how your application may be structured and what's required of you. We'll look at also the program of sessions from Turn It On and what we'll be exploring in each one, and then talk about the sort of commitment you might need to make if you want to put your application in and join these sessions frequently. And any questions, we'll pause periodically. You can ask me if you wish, and if you want to, you can leave it to the end, but anything in chat, I'll come back over from time to time and pick them up there. First of all, introductions. I come from an education background in the UK and worked in schools for 15 years and recently moved over to the private sector. This afternoon, we aren't able to have the Managing Director of Turn It On with us, but he will be working with us on and off through other sessions. So that's Tom Welsh. And at Microsoft, Jen King isn't able to join today, but she will be joining some of the future sessions. And she works in UK schools engagement. She's the lead for UK schools engagement. So you'll get familiar with Jen. And during the program, we'll have other people coming along to work with us. So we'll have some past MIEs. We'll also have some future MIEs, which are further down the journey than you are. But really, this is about forming a community so that if you want to become an MIEE, you're not going it alone. You've got a community of people to work around you. That community is really useful. I know that when I first submitted my application to become an MIEE, it was quite a lonely process. I was working in a school and I didn't really have anybody else that was like-minded and anyone to bounce ideas on off of it. Once I got into it, I managed to get onto things like Twitter and connect with people on social media, but it still was quite difficult to find anybody locally. So what we're hoping to do is really bring you a community that you can easily access of like-minded people all on the same journey, and for you to be able to share ideas and support each other and just enjoy the process. What we will do is Turn It On as well. We've got a dedicated team that you've seen there of people that can mentor. What we will do is make sure that we're available to answer questions, not just during the sessions, but we'll join you into a team specifically for everybody that's going to be on this journey together. And if you ask questions, if you want to share something, if you've done something in your school and it's been really successful, that's the focus of having that community team there. So in between these live sessions where you can join with us, you've also got somewhere that you can still connect with people. In last year, something we're really proud of, that we had 100% of people that joined us on our MIEE program. They graduated and gained the Microsoft qualification last year, and they are now out there in that community actively helping their school and other schools, and some of them are now beginning to work internationally. So we are very proud to be offering that again this year, and it's something that we want you to be involved with. The course aims are very, very simple. Obviously, we want to help you get your MIEE accreditation and be successful in the application that you're going to write, but we want for you to start to create accessible classrooms. We want that learning that you're delivering wherever you are to be really engaging, to capture the imagination of pupils and students and bring them in, but also to invigorate the momentum of the whole thing in your school. Get other staff around you enthused in what you're doing. And really importantly, we don't want to add to teacher workloads. The whole philosophy of this is that you could have a big transformational change in your school as somebody working who's really proactive within using technology to enhancing learning. And what you're not doing is giving them another job to do. You're helping them to work more smartly. So you may be sat there thinking, well, what on earth is an MIEE? Well, there's 350,000 of those passionate MIEEs around the world at the moment, and they are all out there in their own countries having positive impacts on the lives of young people. The program itself wants to build a regional educator community, but then it forms part of a bigger global educator community, and that you will, not just through this process, but continuing afterwards, have opportunities to get together. You'll be enrolled into Microsoft groups where you can come together, you can work, you can share resources. People will give you resources. You'll be able to get the inside track on what's coming from Microsoft, and then think about it earlier on, how it might be useful in your school, how it may work for you in your role, and also your professional development. The role of the MIE needs to be somebody who's really self-driven, somebody who wants to take this technology, take the educational principles, and use it to transform that learning. You will be passionate about teaching. You're also going to be passionate about technology, thinking about how you can work creatively with those students to just be inspirational to them and show them that they've got a toolkit of opportunities, whatever it is, to bring it back and apply it to their own learning so they can just take control of that and own it. With that, you will likely work across your school because you will be one of the digital leads in your school that's helping to bring about that transformation. But I can assure you, you probably will get a name for yourself in the local area wherever you're working, and people will start coming to you, whether you are working in a individual school or whether you're part of a trust in the UK or a network of schools where you're working. It always happens. Somebody hears about what you're up to, or a student goes along to another event and mentions what they've done in their school, and then slowly and surely someone will come back to you and say, what are you doing in your school? It sounds amazing. I had somebody waxing lyrical about it and I'd like to know some more. So just embracing that change, being open to that change, being in that growth mindset is really, really important. So you're thinking, well, that's fine, but why should I do it? What's in it for the school? What's in it for me and my professional development? I can't emphasize enough that you will get as much back as you give in this community. You're also going to find yourself doing some coaching and professional development, but there'll be many, many opportunities to receive professional development, either from Microsoft communities, the Turn On community, or access to courses and resources that you will get from joining the MIEE program. The fact that you're going to have the opportunity as well to think about how you use your existing technology and how you might then influence the purchase of new technology, but you will get to see some of the technologies coming to market and also some of the platform developments coming to market that will be useful in your school. Not everyone's going to fit the educational context you're in, but certainly you will find a great deal of them will lend ourselves to your school, and you think, well, actually that allows us to do something we couldn't do before, or that's a new exciting opportunity. And you may not be able to do it straight away, but what you can start to do is build it into a longer term plan for educational transformation. You'll also find that if you do embrace the technologies that we're going to explore in this program, that you can decrease some of your workload, that a lot of the automation or the administration tasks that you maybe had to do before, which just took up some time that you didn't want to spend or you didn't have and you couldn't afford to because you had other things you needed to get on with, well, that can also be something in this program. We'll look at how we use the technology around us to work more smartly and reduce those workloads. It's one of those core philosophies that I mentioned at the beginning. The making the pupils more engaged always has a direct outcome, and that is improves the performance of the school, the performance of the individuals, because they suddenly are more able to learn because maybe they've got access to resources and they couldn't engage them in the way that they had previously, or that they are just enthused about what they're doing and it inspires them and drives them on. So that, in essence, is is the nutshell. You've got the global community, you've got the opportunity to change student or pupil lives for the better. You will be able to support your colleagues in your school, work with colleagues in the wider community if you wish, although you don't have to, but you will get a lot back from that because people in the global community will want to support you. I'm always amazed if I throw a question onto the MIEE community at Microsoft, just how enthusiastic everybody is. And it doesn't matter where I am in the world and who I'm connecting with. It could be somebody in Canada that responds to me, but I've always got something new that I can learn from. And also, they're always so warm and friendly, and they want to share what they're doing, and they want to say how it could possibly work for me. You will, if you wish, after becoming an MIEE, have other opportunities and paths available with you to you within Microsoft. So you could become an MIEE trainer, or you could become an MIEE fellow. In their logical next steps for many people, if you become, for instance, an MIEE trainer, it's one of the accreditations that I hold. You can start to go out and deliver training in association with Microsoft, or you could be delivering training on behalf of your school, and you could be outsourced to work with other schools. So there's lots of opportunities in that way too. Where you can often get a lot of the courses at the beginning is on the Microsoft Education Center, and we'll come back and touch on the Microsoft Education Center a little bit later. So MEC, short for Microsoft Education Center. There are going to be those regional and national events that you can go along to. Even during the pandemic, those have moved online at the moment, but I know that there's a burning desire to get back to having real face-to-face network meetings, and that will be there as soon as it's possible. There'll also be very big EdTech events. So in the UK, we normally have BETS every January, but we know globally there's lots of other events there. So you have the opportunity to possibly go along, be on the Microsoft stand. You get to meet other people, but also show people what you're up to in your school. If you're doing something that's amazing, that's having that level of impact, believe me, Microsoft will want to know about it, and doors will start to open. So it will be for you personally and also to support your school. We are going to have an impact on pupils, and that's absolutely one of the core principles here, that you are going to develop that transferable skill set, which is going to make them a successful learner when they leave school, as well as being in school. You're going to constantly get feedback, whether it's from people in this community, if you decide to join us on this journey, or the wider MIE community once you're qualified. That access, as I said, to tools, to the platforms, the software, the hardware, they will all be really valuable to you being successful in bringing about that transformation in your school. And before you know it, yes, you will have a voice. Not only will people listen to you locally, people will be listening to you globally, and you'll be able to get access to most of this anytime, anywhere. So yes, we know we're busy. Yes, we've got pressures upon us as teachers, and in the daytime, those can often mean that we don't have a lot of time for anything else. Even if we've got some professional release time to do marking or go to meetings, it's not always there to bring into our professional development. So there you can come to it whenever you wish, whether it's going to be an evening, and not suggesting you should work in your evenings, but some of us need to because that's the opportunity we've got. But wherever you are, it will be anywhere access. And the same with our community. If you pop a message on, we will come back to you as soon as possible. If we know how to solve something, we'll give you a solution. So that's all part of just making your lives easier and that reducing the workload philosophy. Before I go on to anything to do with application and planning and structure, are there any questions? And I'll come back and see if there's any questions in the conversation. Any questions anyone else has got so far? I can see a couple of people typing. Mark, I'll let you just type your question there into the conversation. Okay, so you're not a teacher and you support them in learning. Is this still for me? Yeah, it absolutely can be. So if you are somebody who works, I've had people join these courses before that are working colleges, and maybe they deliver teacher training, or they develop educationalists in some way. So yes, you can join this. The Microsoft Innovative Educator is for somebody who has some links with education and impacting positively upon education. So although you might not be a teacher directly, yes, you could still join. If you feel that it's for you, I'd be delighted to have you along. It will be all-round digital skills. So during, and I'll share the agenda, we'll look at everything from using things like Teams to build community for communication and collaboration, through to programs to make learning resources more accessible. So there's going to be a huge wide range of digital skills that you can transfer to a lot of different contexts. If you got your MIE in 2017, that's fine. So the MIE is the first step, Microsoft Innovative Educator, and you're going to need to be an MIE in order to apply to become an MIEE, which is a Microsoft Innovative Educator Expert. We will cover all those little requirements in the second half of this training. So it's fine. If you've got MIE already, that's great, because you've already taken one of the steps on the journey to applying to become an MIEE. It's a really positive step. I'll jump back over and continue, and I'll come back and take a few questions in a little bit. So your application, one of the things that you will need to do is be a qualified MIE, which is great that some of you here today have already got that, because that takes away one job to do. You're going to have to submit an application to Microsoft, and that's either going to be a Microsoft Sway presentation, or it's going to be a 2-minute video, and you're going to need to answer these 4 core questions in your application. Doesn't have to be long and complicated, but the 4 questions about why you consider yourself to be an educator expert is really important. Talk about you, talk about your background, talk about your role and what you do, and it will help to set the context in the opener of your application. The question 2, talking about how you've incorporated Microsoft technologies, don't worry at the moment if you haven't done that, and it's something you haven't considered even. Don't worry, we're running the sessions for that purpose. So during this journey, we will introduce you to certain Microsoft technologies and talk about how you could use them, or how they could be used in a school or various educational contexts, and how they could have impact and how they could transform the way that a classroom works, or learning works, or teachers work with each other, or you work in your own practice. So number 3, thinking about how you are then impacting on the learning, either of your colleagues around you or people outside of your school, but how you are supporting others to grow and develop. It doesn't have to be you're working with a huge amount of people. You may just be working with 1 or 2, or even just 1. But as long as you can describe something you've done to work with others and pass on the knowledge and the skill sets that you have to try and help them transform their practice and where they are working, that's what we're looking for there. And then question 4 is really looking into the crystal ball and thinking, if I do become a certified Microsoft Innovative Educator expert, what do you want to do in the next 12 months? It opens up many doors for you, but where would you like to take things? So tell them, talk about the future. If you've got aspirations for how you want to use the access you're suddenly going to get for people in Microsoft or communities, that's where you do it. What we will do over each of the sessions, as well as looking at a Microsoft technology to help answer question 2, we will also look a little bit further at each of those questions and break down how to structure them in your applications, be it the live video or the Sway. So you'll be able to submit that Sway at the end of this process. You can submit it before if you wish, but I would urge you to wait, because a lot of the evidence we will hand to you by joining these different sessions, and you'll gradually build it up like a portfolio, and then you can put it all together at the end, and you can use that to strengthen your application when it goes into Microsoft. So you can nominate yourself at any single point if you wish, but as I said, gathering evidence, and I learned from bitter experience, gathering evidence is key. Build it up, have it there, have time to go and work with others, or have time to consider how you're going to influence across a community. But the first thing you need to do is join the Microsoft Education Center and create a profile. So definitely a couple of you have already said that you've done that, because otherwise you wouldn't be certified MIEs. Then you need to do exactly what a couple of you have done, complete a few courses on the Microsoft Education Center or MEC until you have 1,000 points. Once you have 1,000 points, you will get instantly awarded to you your certified MIE status. That just is in the top right hand corner. If I pop into the next slide, top right hand corner where I've got those fingers pointing to sign in, up there it will say your initials once you're signed in, and then you'll be able to see what you've been awarded and courses that you've completed. And in there, after you've completed, usually it's 2 courses, about 500 points a course. They'll take somewhere between 45 minutes to 1 hour to complete each of the 500-point courses. And then before you know it, you've got your 1,000 points. And one of the entry requirements to applying to become a Microsoft Innovative Educator expert is that you're an MIE first. So that's completing those 2 courses and getting your 1,000 points. The step 3 is where the 2-minute video in the sway comes in, and that you answer those 4 questions that are listed there at the bottom, but we discussed on one of the previous slides. And that, yes, you can go it alone, and you might decide, look, this isn't for me, and I won't join you on any future sessions. I sincerely hope you will come along with us. But if you don't, you can put together your own application. But if you think, look, I just don't know if I've got the evidence there and I'd like to build up even more, that's the purpose of this course. It's curated by us. We're here to mentor and guide you. We've all been through the MIEE process. And we currently hold higher level accreditation. So we work with Microsoft on a daily basis, and we will be able to support you and help you with that. When you get this presentation afterwards, and if you do apply and you say you want to join us on this program, we'll ask you to complete a sign-up form, and we'll give you the link for that in a little bit. There's also a colleague here from Turn It On, Tiana, who will also pop that into the conversation for you. Once you've signed up on our Microsoft form registration form, you'll get access and you'll be enrolled into a Microsoft team, and that Microsoft team will have access to this presentation, so you can click the links and you can look at a previous example of sways. And it doesn't end there, because once you get MIEE status, you can apply to go to other events, such as the E2 event. One of those did not run last year, for obvious reasons being the pandemic. But normally that's another opportunity there. The E2 event is run around different places in the world. So it's been in Paris, it's been in Australia. And if you submit a further application once you are a qualified MIEE, you can say, well, look at all the amazing things I'm doing, and you may get selected by Microsoft for an all expenses attendance trip somewhere in the world to go to an E2 event. And those are absolutely buzzing. There's people there globally that are all doing what they're doing, but in different countries, in different educational contexts. And the learning curve is almost vertical, but it's so exciting. And even if you don't get to go, some of it is live cast, and you can join in with some live sessions in chats and so forth. But it's another added bonus to already being an MIEE. So the Turn It On MIEE Microsoft program, our package of support that we would give you in addition to you going alone, is you get 5 sessions with us, and we'll be focusing on different Office 365 applications in each one, but also in each one we'll break down part of the application process to look at those 4 questions. We'll have a better look at structuring from previous applications and so forth to support you. There will also be 2 Q&A events from qualified MIEEs that are out there delivering further training and working around the world. There will be 1 virtual showcase school event, so you'll be able to attend an online event for a Microsoft Showcase school in the UK, and you can go to that. At the moment, it's not possible to go there in person, and if you're in another country, obviously it'd be very difficult to come in person, so it's online. You can go there. There'll be different workshops to join during the day. There'll be people that are presenting, so you'll get an awful lot from that, and also get another opportunity to build your network in your community. And there will be support and collaboration through that dedicated Microsoft team, which you'll be enrolled into. And that's exclusive to the Microsoft program, and how we'll give you additional support to become an MIEE. And if you were in the UK and you wanted any additional support, we do actually offer a consultancy too, but that does have an additional cost associated with it. So what we want as far as commitment from you is pretty small, really. First of all, we just want you to be brave and have a go. You'll get exposed to these new technologies and different philosophies and ways of working. So go and have a go. It doesn't have to be in a classroom. If you don't work in a classroom, then that's fine. Use it in the context that you're working in. We'd like you to be an active contributor to the MIEE team that we join you into. Post things if you see them and you think they're going to be interest to each other. If someone asks a question, jump on and give them a reply. We will be doing that, but it works even better if you're active within that community as well. We want you to keep track of what you're doing, and we want you to then capture that in that sway or video, which eventually becomes your application. Even if you're just throwing bits of ideas into a sway or making notes that you're eventually going to record in your video, just do it, because it makes it easier before you come to the end. And we would dearly love that to translate into you submitting a proper MIEE application to Microsoft, because we would love to have 100% of people going through again, but also we're really proud as a company of the fact that we've worked with so many people in the UK and globally and helped transform the way they're working in education. Key dates, well, we are at the top there. We're on the program launch, and you can see that the dates run through February and into May. We have broken up the individual sessions where we focus on different technology. So session 1 is going to be around Teams and OneNote Class Notebook. Session 2 is going to be around delivering hybrid learning with classroom apps. So we'll delve into a bit of Flipgrid, how to use Planner to structure your own time, and where Stream comes into hosting your videos, whether it's a distance learning or you're creating a professional collection. Then we'll have our first of our MIEE Q&As, and then in the middle we'll have a sandwiched how to use accessibility tools in Microsoft. Everybody finds that useful. It can be completely transformational, not just for pupils and students, but also for staff or parents that are trying to engage with resources. Then another one of those Q&A events, and then we'll finish off with a couple more of the sessions, one looking at how to make sways so that you're better prepared to make a really good and polished sway, and we'll also look at how we use Microsoft Forms. And then finally, we'll finish off with looking at Minecraft Education Edition and how that could be used across all curriculum subjects. There at the end, we've got the Microsoft Showcase School event. At the moment, it's penciled in for the 26th of May. However, we are waiting for some finalised dates from the partner school that's going to be involved in that. So that may move, and it's one of the key things that I want to say on this presentation, but we'll do our best to make sure it slots in between evenly between the other sessions. When you do get access to our team, you'll be able to click the links here and go straight to the MEC. So we've got a couple of good courses if you need your 2 lots of 500 points to get your MIE. So we've got one there in using Teams to transform learning, and another one getting started with OneNote. And you've got something else there that will link you to the MIE Trainer Academy and give you some more information too. So there is an events page on the on the Turn It On website. So if you go to www.turniton.co.uk/events, and Tiana will probably pop that into the chat as well. There's a page there where you can see all of the different sessions coming up to sign up for them, and you go and you register on Eventbrite, and then you can come along. What we'd like you to do initially is sign up on the MIEE registration form. That's a Microsoft form. That is not your application to become an MIEE. That's just a Microsoft form that Turn It On has, and it tells us that you want to join us on this sequence of sessions. And what we will then do is give you access to the Microsoft team, which is going to be the additional MIEE community that you get access to from Turn It On, with all the other support that we're going to offer you on top of being able to connect with the wider community globally around the world. The deadline for registering for the Turn It On form is Friday the 12th of February. So you've got the rest of this week and up to the end of next week to do that. And then you will suddenly find yourself at some point enrolled into a team. You'll get a notification, and then you're in the Turn It On MIEE community as well. As far as following people on social media, we've put there some Twitter handles, people that are really influential. Certainly someone like Mike Tholson he's a very key figure in Microsoft Education from America. Regularly does podcasts and webinars. He's always on the cutting edge of what's going on. Jen's really important to follow because her team in the UK, and she links with other educational teams in Microsoft around the world, will have lots of other events that you can attend. We have got our own Twitter that you can follow us at Turn It On, and we're regularly posting on there as well. So if you have any questions, you can email Microsoft at the address at the top there. But if you'd like to specifically ask anything about the Turn It On program, you can also email us directly at office@turniton.co.uk. Mention that your query is in relation to the Microsoft MIEE program, and then it will get directed through to me or one of the other mentors that are working on the course, and we'll come back to you. Really, you'll only need to do that before you get enrolled into the Microsoft team. Once you're in there, you can just pop a question in the team itself. So really, it's now over to you. And if you've got any questions, if you'd like to find out any more, I'm going to come back and do my best to answer any questions that are over there in the conversation. I can see Tiana's been really busy putting information into the chat as well. So there's lots of links in there for you. It's over to you, ladies and gentlemen. Is there anything else you would like to know? Anything that's still puzzling you? Anything you'd like clarified at all? Aha, yes, good question, Mark. No, there is not a cost involved. We're not about to suddenly tell you have to pay a lot of money. No, we are working with Microsoft, and this program is delivered by Turn It On free of charge. There are no additional costs here. What we want to do is help to grow the global community of MIEEs, and also to support people wherever they're working with having a positive impact in transforming learning. So no additional costs, no. Any other questions at all? Do you have to keep doing training to keep certification once we have it? Okay, once you've got qualified and you're an MIEE, you get to keep that qualification for 2 years. There was some discussion recently about whether it would be an annual renewal, but it looks like it's going to stay 2 years. So you will have it for 2 years, and then you'd have to either submit again to become an MIEE again, or you may decide to go for the next level above. And with all the other evidence that you've gathered since becoming an MIEE, you might want to be an MIEE trainer or an MIEE fellow, or it may lead you down some other path with Microsoft accreditation. So you will have it for 2 years at the moment. Is there a community in Spain? Yeah, there are communities all around the world. I haven't got strong links with any communities in Spain, but if you emailed the address that's on the slide in front of you, Microsoft will be able to connect you with communities in Spain. But you are welcome to join the course over here if you think it will be of benefit to you. Any other questions? I see a couple of people typing. Does it have a time limit? Yes, there is a time limit. So you will need to pop your application in for MIEE by July of this year. And during session 1, I will give you some more details of where the application portal is and what a timeline looks like as far as your application is concerned. We're starting it early now in February, at the beginning of February, so that you've got quite a few months to build that information up so that you can flesh your application out. You haven't got to write a huge sway. It can be quite concise and you will still get accredited, but you'll have certainly a few months in order to do that before July arrives. Fantastic. It would be good to have you along, and I'd welcome you here in this community if it is something that you're interested in. Anybody else have any other questions? For those people that are thinking, where is the form? Tiana has popped it in a post. If you scroll back up the chat for the meeting at 15:22, the very top link, that is the Microsoft form that you fill in to register with Turn It On in order to get enrolled into our team. And then you'll be able to also sign up for those sessions on the link below that on the Turn It On events page on the website. Any further questions at all? See somebody's typing.